Hello everyone, welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring the latest Liverpool news and transfer news and much more. As you can see, I am not live. I'm unfortunately not at home, so I can't do a proper live like I normally do every single night at 7 o'clock. But I am here. I'm going to try to do a quick recording and also give you the latest on Alexander Isak, because this news is not going away, guys. Newcastle fans, Liverpool fans, whatever fans you are, this news between Liverpool and Alexander Isak and Newcastle is not going anywhere anytime soon. And it keeps coming out, different stories, different reports every single day. One report saying that we've got a verbal agreement, others saying Newcastle are very angry at the situation. It is getting quite ugly. It is getting quite ugly, I've got to be honest. If you are in the chat right now, get your thoughts in, get your comments in on the situation. What you think is going on? What do you think will be the outcome of this? Do you think Liverpool will finally put a bid in? And do you think Isak can join the Reds sometime soon? So, like I said, I'm not actually live, but I've put it out to as a premiere, so you guys can get in the comments as a live show would be, and I'll also be in the comments as well on the Talking Reds. So, if you ain't got any questions, let me know in the chat. Get your comments in as well. Like I said, I want to give you a stream tonight. I want to give you the update on Alexander Isak. I want to do the best I can. So here we go. Let's break it down. Let's break down the situation now between Isak, Newcastle and Liverpool. So Florian Plettenberg said earlier on that there has been a verbal agreement between Liverpool and Isak's camp in terms of getting a contract sorted as well. The contract is to 2031, according to Plettenberg. But this is where I'm like, do I really believe that report? I don't think there can be a certain an agreement as such until Liverpool put a bid in anyway. Can they? I don't know. Can they really show them that the contract? Can they show them what they're going to offer them? I don't really know the ins and outs of that. I think it's quite clear that Isak wants Liverpool. It's quite clear that Liverpool want Isak. So any verbal agreement, any sort of contract issues, any personal agreement wouldn't be a problem when the bid is to be done. But be very, very careful of what report you believe and things like that, because the bid has to happen first before any real proper contact. There's going to be contact between Liverpool and Isak's camp, but in terms of legally and contract wise, that can't really be done until a bid has been made. And Newcastle have given that green light to Liverpool to speak to Isak and his camp. And again, it's quite similar to I say the same about Fabrizio Romano. Romano keeps going on about every single day. People notice that Romano's tweeting every single second, every hour or so, or as an update on that, a bidding coming. And I said the same about Romano. It does get a lot of things right, and it gets a few things wrong, but it gets a lot of things right. But I think he tries to be early on things, so be very, very careful. Also, a bid is incoming. He's going to tweet that out. He'll tweet out like 5 times a day. A bid's coming, things like that. And he's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong, because I think a bid is coming in the next few days. I think Liverpool will make a bid. But I think the way him out his tweets, it's engagement, it's about the views, about the clicks. I get it. I think he's got his sources. Certainly, I think he's right about it. Just don't get too involved in him tweeting out every single day and like believing everything that he says, if that makes sense. But I think he is right in terms of the bid is coming. But like I said, is it a case of he wants to be the first one to say that, I said that? Or is he actually serious that the bid is incoming in the next couple of days? My personal opinion is that Liverpool will bid within, certainly in the next week. Everything is pointing to now where Newcastle potentially letting Isak go. The issue is what we're having here. The issue is now with Newcastle and Isak is Newcastle need a replacement. And that's as simple as that. And I absolutely understand that. And Newcastle's stance right now, we've got to keep you until we get a replacement. I sort of get that as well. They're going into a season now. They just bought Elanga. That's all they've bought right now. They still need better upgrades in terms of the squad. Callum Wilson's going to be moved on. They need 2 strikers, really. They were looking at Isak's backup, TK, which didn't work out, clearly, because we've got him. Mbeumo didn't work out. Delap didn't work out. João Pedro didn't work out. But if they're losing Isak as well, They need 2 strikers at least. They can't go into a season unprepared. And I think they are going to be unprepared regardless, unless they get an Isak in and get, the squad depth they need. But the longer this goes on for them, it is worse for Newcastle. I said that the other day. The longer this goes on for them is worse because the less time they're going to sort the situation out. We've got 4.5 weeks, I want to say now, for the transfer window. Season starts in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They need to get their business done and get their players in. Liverpool, on the other hand, do we need to rush the situation? Not really, because we have got a number 9 now. Ekitike has come in. Obviously played yesterday, his debut. So we have got number 9. But I still think Arne Slot and also Liverpool themselves want to get this deal done because it is getting quite ugly. It is. It really is. There was a report came out yesterday, and again, it's been got out there this morning as well, that there's sources in Spain saying Isak is using Real Sociedad's training facilities. And I spoke about it on the stream the other day. I said it's important Liverpool get this done quicker because they want to get Isak in and get him in the pre-season, get him in the training, get him in the matches. Because if Isak joins us at the end of the window, obviously two games into the season, he's missed those 2 games, number 1. And not only that, if he's not training, if he's not getting matches with Newcastle, because he's not going to be playing for Newcastle, he's getting training with Sociedad right now, with Sociedad's facilities. But if he's not getting matches with Newcastle, pre-season matches, he's not going to be match fit. Not only does he miss the 2 games, potentially till the season, to the transfer window ends, he could miss up to 3 or 4 games trying to get up to match fitness for Liverpool and getting used to Liverpool's tactics and Arne Slot and things like that. So, in terms of Newcastle, I think they need to get it done quicker. Or they need the situation sorting quicker. Whether it's Isak going or staying, they need that. They need it. That is what's happening. They need to know what is happening quicker because they've got, like I say, 4.5 weeks left of the transfer window. They've got Elanga in. They need depth elsewhere, and they need to know if they've got an unhappy player on their hands or they've got rid of him. They need to know where they are. But Liverpool are not as in a rush. But I think getting him in is important to get him match fit because, like I said, he's not playing for Newcastle. If he was playing for Newcastle right now in the pre-season, it's a bit different because it is still getting that match fitness through them. Training and playing matches is completely different. Completely different. You can get match fit through training, but you're not fully match fit, if that makes sense. You can do your training, high intensity training, but when you're on the match, it's completely different. This is why when players come back from injuries, you see them getting involved in full training, but then they'll get spurts of matches. They'll get like 20 minutes here and there to get them back into match fitness fully. And it could have a knock-on effect too, Isak. Luckily for us, we've got Ekitike now. So we have got number 9. So it's not major. If Isak comes in and misses a few games, at least Ekitike is there. But it's ideal if we got Isak quicker. More reports on it as well with over the last couple of days. Also, Newcastle very upset at the situation. And you would be. Look, we've been in this situation for Liverpool fans. We've been in this situation for. Coutinho is an absolute prime example of it. He faked a back injury, ended up going to Barcelona, didn't go training, went to Barcelona, and we are going to be upset. I just think they're not happy with how it's all played out. And Liverpool haven't really done anything wrong. Apart from, you can speak to the camp of Isak. You can speak to it's not tapping up. Every single club does this. Newcastle are doing it themselves right now. They've spoken to Witter's camp. That's why Witter now is falling out with Brentford because he wants to move to Newcastle. Every single club does this. But I just don't think they like how Isak is pushing it a little bit more. And I'll admit, I didn't see him pushing it like this a little bit more. I didn't see him pushing like this. And he is doing. I did a TikTok earlier. I did a TikTok video earlier. I sort of understand both parties of the situation. Isak's got to push. If he wants this move right now, going into his prime, he deserves to play for the biggest clubs. Does he want to play for Newcastle, who could or could not make Champions League this season? Or do you want to play for a club that's coming for him, that's interested in him, Premier League champions, fighting for titles, fighting for Champions Leagues? into his prime. That's what he wants. But then I also understand Newcastle's stance on it, because at the end of the day, it's their player, and he's got 3 years on the contract. So I do understand both sides, and I do understand the upset. And Newcastle, at the end of the day, Newcastle need to be paid what they need to be paid for him because of the 3 years on the contract. If he's got 1 year left, then they might have a little bit of wiggle room, but they have every single right to put a big price on him. He's their star player. If you know, you can't just let your best players just go like that to a Premier League club, another Premier League club, just because they kicked up a fuss. It doesn't work like that. But then I also understand why Isak's pushing a little bit. It's one of them, innit? I think the whole outcome for me should be Liverpool paying up. That's acceptable. If Liverpool want him, make a bid, pay up what's acceptable for Newcastle. Newcastle get their money, and they can go spend elsewhere. That's what's the best outcome right now in it all. Because if Isak stays, he's going to be unhappy. It's as simple as that. He's going to be unhappy. And does Newcastle want to keep an unhappy player? Probably not. And not only that, they can't spend. They ain't got the PSR regulation in place to spend elsewhere and get their squad to where they need to be. If they want to improve from just making Champions League, if they want to get Champions League again, then eventually push on for the title challenges or the Champions League challenges, then they need to improve elsewhere. And without that exact money, I don't think they can. That's the biggest issue for them. There needs to be a resolution here for both parties, for all, well, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Isak, that everyone's accepted on this. And I think that end up conclusion should be really Isak coming to Liverpool for a very good price, by the way. I don't think Liverpool should be cheap with their first offer, because at the end of the day, if they really want him, you got to go get him. Simple as that. According to Alex Crook as well, there was a report about with Alex Crook coming out and saying that Liverpool didn't actually leak the interest for Isak. It was actually Isak's camp that leaked the interest of Liverpool's interest of him, and saying that Liverpool's trying to do this the right way. They tried to keep it indoors. They tried to keep it in the background because they're out of respect to Newcastle. And like I said, Liverpool have been in this situation before, so they probably understand where Isak's upset Newcastle's upset comes from. But this is what agents do this all the time, don't they? They absolutely love it. Agents run football right now. If as soon as they know that Liverpool's coming in from, they probably do leak it at some point. It is what it is. I don't like how it's playing out right now. I don't like how ugly it's getting. I don't think that should be a part of football. I just hope it comes to a conclusion where all three parties are happy. I hope it comes to a conclusion with a bit of respect and a bit of it just nicely comes to a conclusion. But Newcastle fans won't ever see it as a nice conclusion, regardless. Whether he stays, they won't be happy and being unhappy and trying to push for the move. And if he goes, then Newcastle fans won't be happy anyway. But I get it. I don't get abuse that the Liverpool fans have got, including myself, but I get the upset and I get the frustrations. Absolutely. I'm just going to go over a report about also David Kopp as well. Came out and said was Liverpool willing to pay £120 million plus add-ons to David Kopp. And we've been speaking about this on stream a few times. How much do you think the money that will be bid, or how much do you think that money that will be accepted? 150 million is the reported fee that Newcastle are asking for. A few people have reported this. I don't think Liverpool will end up paying that if they get him. We've seen it so many times. Clubs put price on players. That original asking price is not really usually the end up fee that's paid. We saw it with Flying Verts. They wanted 150 million euros. We ended up paying 137 million euros. I want to say something like around that. So we did pay less for Verts. Same with Kirkhead, but £45 million. I think they wanted. We paid them 40. I think they will work that down, but I don't want to unless we can underpay Newcastle, which I very much doubt it. But I don't want to be insulting with that first bid, if that makes sense. That first bid needs to be at least 115, 120 million. It has to be. It has to be. If it's anything insulting, I don't think Newcastle really go into that negotiations. And I understand Newcastle having to try and get that fee for him. So like I said, it's their goal scorer, is their main man up front, is the one that gets them the wins. It's a tricky one, guys. It really is a tricky one. I think Liverpool could get him from around 130, 135. That's what I think. If that report by David Copper is correct, 120 million plus add-ons is what we're willing to pay. Are we willing to go further? That's the question. This is very interesting because Florian Wirtz is quite similar. I think there was a report earlier on with Florian Wirtz. We were only willing to pay this amount, but we actually went over that report, which is interesting. If this report is saying we're willing to pay that, I think we might go over that. 130, 135 million, I'd say is probably about the correct amount. I'd say about maybe like 110 million in a fixed fee. So whether it's installments or upfront, I don't think we'll pay 110 million up front. Whether it's a fixed fee installments and then like 25 million add-ons or something like that, 120 million maybe, and then like 15 million add-ons. So 135 million altogether could be it, which David alludes to there, 120 million plus add-ons. So that would be 120 million plus 15 million add-ons. I think that could be around the fee, I'd say, would be the one that is probably accepted, the one that gets the deal over the line. I can't see us paying 150 million, and I can't see Newcastle, because of the way it's happened and the way things, I think Newcastle have to at some point say, yeah, we will go down a little bit in the money because we don't want this player at the club anymore. And it's very interesting what's going on at Newcastle. Also, they're being rejected by so many players. If they lose now Sesko or Vissa, I think they still can get Vissa, but Sesko, obviously, with Man United coming in, could Man United pay for Sesko? Who knows? It'd be very interesting. It'd be very, very interesting what happens to Sesko. Because if Sesko doesn't go to Newcastle and Newcastle don't get that replacement, does that really keep Isak at Liverpool? I think what that could do, guys. Let me know your comments in the chat as well. So we're out. It's live, but I'm not live right now personally. But it is live, as you guys can get in the comments. So let me know in the comments right now if you think Sesko joining Newcastle really impacts Isak's move. Because if he doesn't join Newcastle, does Isak stay? I'm thinking, I wonder if it adds price to the Isak situation. Because there was a report the other day saying even if someone doesn't come in for Newcastle, they still might sell Isak at the right price. If I'm saying right now, he could go for 135 million altogether, which is maybe a fixed fee and then plus add-ons, which adds up to 135 million altogether. I wonder if they don't bring anyone else in, which they should do. They've got to. Would they then put the fee up on Isak to ensure they get, something back from it? That extra 20 million, something like that. They might put 150 million back onto his price tag. It's an interesting one. And this situation it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And it is getting quite ugly, but it is what it is. This is football. This is football transfers. This is what it is. I do think Liverpool will get Isak. I think I'm on this. I think I'm 60% now. I said the other day, and I still stand by that 60% chance. I think we get Isak done over the line. When? It could take a while. Let me know in the comments anyway your thoughts on the Isak situation. Like I said, I do apologise for no stream last night. No one is available, unfortunately. I'm not at home, but we will be back to normal hopefully tomorrow night at Friday and over the weekend as well. So make sure you do tune into Talking Reds. Make sure you hit that like button. Smash that like button. It takes 2 seconds to hit that like button just underneath the video.